After a long 2 years, the $1 billion club is back, baby! And some of us feared it might never return. Well, we know deep down it would come back someday, but we thought it could be a long time. Again, it was just about 2 years, which is pretty impressive on Hollywood's part. But that's because Spider-Man No Way Home is no ordinary movie. It's a very special type of movie, and that's the direction Hollywood's going to have to go in, which is largely what this video is about. So yes, the movie landscape is definitely changing, with COVID still an issue, holding back older moviegoers in particular, and also I think making moviegoers more selective about what they'll see in theaters and how many times they'll see it. The pandemic, after all, trained moviegoers to watch movies at home. People have built up better home theaters during the pandemic, and they're used to now waiting for a movie. Movie fans before the pandemic would think it would be sacrilegious not to see a film opening weekend. But now, I think the overall sentiment is we can wait. You can wait for a lot of movies, especially since there's great streaming shows to tide you over, and you don't have to wait that long anymore with the new 45-day window. 2021 was the year of Hollywood experimenting with day-and-date digital releases on their streaming services. 2022 is going to be about the 45-day window. Warner Brothers HBO Max is switching to that as well. Basically, what's going to happen is that whereas in 2021 you could choose where to watch a movie in theaters or on a streaming service a lot of the time, in 2022 you can either see it in the theater or you can wait 45 days, and once those 45 days are up you can either purchase it on PVOD for around $20-$25 or you can be subscribed to the studio streaming services like Disney Plus, HBO Max, and you'll be able to watch the movie there at no extra cost. So that's what's going to happen, and we'll see how that goes. So what are the next mega hits? And are they all from Disney? What I'm going to do here is take a look at the 2022 contenders and also some movies that you might think are contenders for a $1 billion club entry, but I actually think won't make it. I got a little tea mixed in here as well. And then, considering how hot the nostalgia market is right now, as evidenced by Spider-Man No Way Home, I want to take a look at other franchises that are being revived or could be revived. So again, Disney just doesn't get all the action. I think studios are sitting on some very valuable franchises. All right, but as I said, let's start with 2022, and here are my picks for the movies most likely to join the $1 billion club. All right, and once again, Disney leads the pack. Black Panther Wakanda Forever, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, building again off of that Spider-Man No Way Home hype with the return of fan favorites on screen, and Avatar 2. Now a Disney movie. I think James Cameron lost a bit of his luster with the last Terminator movie, but, Avatar, people really like Avatar, as evidenced by how popular the attractions are at Disney's Animal Kingdom. So I think those three movies are pretty much slam dunks. You never know for sure what's going to happen, but I feel pretty good about that. Even if China continues to block Disney movies. Spider-Man No Way Home didn't need China for it to reach $1 billion. And the first Black Panther and Avatar, they both played in China, but they wouldn't have needed that money to if they had not played in China, they still would have been billion-dollar pictures. Now, I think Thor Love and Thunder will come close to $1 billion, but I don't think it's as sure a bet to actually cross the line. Thor Ragnarok only made it to 853.9 worldwide, and I just think Taika Waititi's Thor movies, while incredible, are a little more niche. They're doing their own thing, look, close to $1 billion is nothing to frown at, but I think to get to $1 billion, you need a little bit of special sauce. You need something really cool happening that makes people sit up. And I don't think Thor Love and Thunder totally has that. Also, some of these movies are going to get tripped up a little bit with fan quibbles. We'll see how, I hope fans are receptive to Natalie Portman in the Thor role. Chris Hemsworth is still going to be there. And you always wonder what's going to happen with Black Panther Wakanda Forever with Shuri being the new Black Panther. But I think some of the, there are a lot of strong male characters in that movie anyway. So I think it should be fine. Now, I suspect the big twist in Lightyear is not going to go down well with audiences. It's a character reveal. I don't think that's going to work out. It's out there if you want to find out what it is. I don't know. I think, again, we're in the age of spoilers. The big twist is out there is not great, but it's not a great twist. So I think that despite Toy Story 3 and 4 both being billion-dollar pictures, I don't believe Lightyear will join them in the billion-dollar club. As for Warner Brothers, as I recently tweeted, The Flash is going to remake the DCEU. But while I don't think that guarantees the movie will bomb, it could even do well, However, I do think that means the Snyder Cut fans will probably keep it from reaching $1 billion. I mean, it's got Michael Keaton in it, right? Warner Brothers, I'm sure, is like, we're doing the multiverse game. They're a little late to the party. I don't even know if Flash is going to come out this year, to be honest with you. Let's see. I think there's a very strong chance it might get pushed. So I think it'll do well, but I don't think it's going to get $1 billion. Aquaman 2, I think, is also a wild card when it comes to the $1 billion club. The first movie joined the $1 billion club, even though for some reason people always forget that. And I thought it deserved to join the $1 billion club. I really liked Aquaman. But I hear there are some creative issues this time around. They're having a little trouble executing James Wan's vision. And there's also fan anger over those changes to the DCEU, which I think could touch all the films. Fans decide to really, let their ticket money do the talking for them. And then also, of course, that Amber Heard is still involved. I think that that's a big problem for it. So those elements could keep this sequel from also reaching $1 billion. But I believe the Batman will make $1 billion because he's Batman, right? Batman and Batman-related movies outside of DCEU Batman movies, which I think is very interesting and might point to a little bit why Warner Brothers is trying to move away from that. But they've consistently joined the $1 billion club in the past. And I think this one will too. There aren't a lot of huge reveals coming your way with this movie, but I think just cinematically, it's going to be very exciting. It's going to be a true Batman story. So I think it should do very well with not only people showing up to the theater, but I think it could be a big repeat viewer. Especially since Doctor Strange 2 moved out of that month. All right, then Universal, the silent killer, silent but deadly. No one ever sees it coming, but they always do so well. They have 2 movies that I think are pretty much guaranteed to join the $1 billion club this year. Jurassic World Dominion. Not only are both Jurassic World movies to date also $1 billion club movies, but this will have that potent nostalgia. It'll have that with Sam Neill and Laura Dern returning to join Jeff Goldblum, who, of course, already popped up in the last one, Fallen Kingdom. That's awesome. Everyone's going to want to see that. Also, I think all the Jurassic World movies have been very enjoyable, quite frankly. But Universal also has Minions: The Rise of Gru. Now, before you laugh about that joining the $1 billion club, the last 2 Despicable Me movies joined the $1 billion club, very strong overseas. So I think Uni and Illumination Entertainment are set to laugh all the way to the bank once again. Then the big question for 2022 is, can Sony build on the popularity of Spider-Man No Way Home to make Spider-Man Across the SpiderVerse Part 1 a $1 billion movie, even though the first one only made $375.5 worldwide? That would be a huge accomplishment. I think maybe they can do it, as fans over at Fandango voted it their second most anticipated movie for the year, although Eternals did very well in those polls as well, and that didn't turn out. But that's because the movie wasn't great. I think SpiderVerse will deliver. And then also, the film has gained a very large following, with many discovering it once it hit Netflix and streamed there for a couple of years. So I think this could be like an Austin Powers situation, where not a lot of people saw the original in theaters, but the audience has really grown since then, and so the sequel will explode. All right, so that's 2022. Now, beyond that, here are other franchises that have a potential $1 billion picture in them that haven't been in play in a while. Starting with Disney, Indiana Jones, another franchise they're eager to get off the ground again. And just maybe, Indiana Jones 5, directed by James Mangold, who did such a good job with Ford v Ferrari, maybe that can join the $1 billion club when it comes out. Right now it's slated for 2023. Not only is Harrison Ford back, although he was back for the last one, but this movie is rumored to include time travel? That's either a great idea or a horrible idea, and we will find out. Also, speaking of good or bad, will co-star Phoebe Waller-Bridge be Fleabag awesome or Star Wars cringe? She can be all over the place. I really like her, though, overall. There's also, of course, Star Wars, right? Whenever those movies come back online, even the hated ones cleared $1 billion easy. And as I recently tweeted, Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are in talks to get involved with the Star Wars movie space, not take it over, but to do stuff to get involved creatively after doing so well for Star Wars on Disney+. So I think that could definitely help. I think that would be great. Disney could also ask Pixar to do Incredibles 3. I think it would be worth everyone's time if they did a time jump. The other one picked up right where the last one left off. That was surprisingly fun. But I think if they want to come back, they need to do a time jump where the kids are older and we find out what happens with Jack Jack. As I've said before, I'd love it if Jack Jack maybe grows up to be a villain. That would be very interesting. Or just a new generation of heroes. I just think that to do that would be an easy $1 billion film for Disney. And a proper X-Men movie for Marvel. I'm not talking about sprinkling X-Men across other MCU movies. I'm talking about having that franchise come back in its own right and done comics accurate. I think people would go crazy over that. That could do incredibly well. Warner Brothers could clear $1 billion easy by bringing back the original Harry Potter trio, not just for a reunion on HBO Max, but for a new movie. Not Cursed Child, since fans don't... I thought that was okay. Most fans don't care for that story, so have JK or maybe someone else write another adventure for them. But maybe the reunion was the first step to making that happen. And if Warner Brothers brings over another filmmaker to take over The Matrix, I think that has $1 billion picture in it as well. After all, the second Matrix made $738.5 worldwide back in 2003. 2003! Now, just a little history about the $1 billion Club. Of course, Titanic was the first $1 billion movie, but when the $1 billion Clubs first started to have like real momentum, when other movies could cross that line, was also in 2003, by the way. That was a great year for Warner Brothers, with Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King, although that's now become a TV franchise on Amazon. So you might, because, I guess Warner Brothers could also try to bring back Lord of the Rings movies, although The Hobbit had less, progressively less return, so I don't know. But The Return of the King, 2003, $1 billion Club movie. Then Pirates followed it, the first Pirates in 2006, and that's when you started to have $1 billion movies showing up. There are a couple of films that were released earlier that are in the $1 billion Club, but they are only in there because of re-releases. And Amazon, which now owns James Bond, well, if Barbara Broccoli chooses wisely with Daniel Craig's replacement and brings back a little bit of the fun factor, I think the next Bond could be $1 billion picture as well, just like Skyfall was. And even No Time to Die did very well during the pandemic, incredibly so, almost reaching $800 million. Finally, I also feel if Universal could find a way to bring Back to the Future, I know some of you are like, no, I'm just saying, if they found a way to do it right, with Christopher Lloyd coming back in full as Doc Brown and Michael J. Fox doing a cameo to the best of his abilities, I think that would be $1 billion picture as well. It would have to be handled very, very well. But hey, they were able to bring back Jurassic Park. I think it could be done if they were just really careful about it. I'm not even saying you need Robert Zemeckis to come back, because he's a different filmmaker these days, and Lana Wachowski coming back didn't help The Matrix so well. And I think that, I think that Indiana Jones has new life thanks to James Mangold coming on board. So I think it could be done. I think it could be done if they were just really careful about it. So what do you think of the next $1 billion movies in 2022? And beyond that, what other franchises should be brought back for that Spider-Man No Way Home nostalgia hotness? All right, share those thoughts down below. Subscribe today. And of course, as always, you can check out some more videos right now.